All right. So everyone is still jumping on in. So good morning, everyone in the live trading room, and good morning to everyone on YouTube. Let's go ahead and smash that like button and subscribe button. That way you can follow us every single day, especially with the content that we provide on our YouTube channel. And for whatever reason, if you're not already subscribed to the YouTube channel, guys, we really encourage you to hit that subscribe button. Not only just to be a subscriber, but we actually provide some really good content on that YouTube channel, and you can get some good information from the free webinars that we provide to every single day. We do a minimum of 2 posts on our YouTube channel: the trade of the day and also our pre-market analysis. So we're just building up a library of content so that you guys can learn from it and hopefully use it as reference and as study material. But with that being said, today is the first day of March, and it's the last month of Q1. So I'm really excited because the first 2 months of the year have been amazing. And Taj and I, we were just talking about it on our Facebook Live session, that we want to start off the month, every single month, on the first day. We always are looking just to kind of just get green on the board, right? We want to start off the first day of the month green. So for me, and I know for Taj, today, I'm not trying to make a home run today. I want to make a nice solid base hit. Maybe I get a double, maybe I get a triple. But the most important thing is to get green on the board. Let's start off the month with the right foot forward, right? If that makes sense. So with that being said, I've got a couple stocks that I'm looking at that I think can present some good opportunities today. And let's get right at it. So I have to bring up Gamestop because Gamestop is just, it's just been a very volatile stock, right? Today, though, very low volume and a very tight range. Pre-market high of just $111. Pre-market low right here at like 104, which is it's about to hit it. I don't know if this 855 candlestick was a misprint on my charts, but let's just say 104 is the low. So GameStop, it is a misprint. Okay. So GameStop, what I like to see is this. I mean, it's in a tight range. It's like in an 8-point range, or 7-point range. So if GameStop falls below 104, which is like it's about to do it right now, it is going to set up to go short, right? So I'll probably bet against the stock dropping in price and go for a short position. I don't touch options contracts on GameStop because the premium is so high because of the implied volatility. I don't know what the implied volatility is currently with GameStop, but I'm sure it's pretty up there. So I do play GameStop with actual equity. Right there, it just triggered 104. So at the moment, we've just got to wait for another setup. Maybe there's a bear flag formation, or whatever the case may be. So I am going to watch GameStop. 500% implied volatility. So yeah, I don't really touch the contracts on GameStop. Now, if GameStop wants to rip, and if it breaks above 111, I'm definitely going long GameStop. Probably put my stops at like 108. So I'm only going to give it a 3-point range on that rip to the upside if we even get it. It is selling off, so let's see what happens. We have to wait for a proper entry point. I'll call it out. Draftkings. I really like Draftkings today. Gapping up, 2 points. But if you guys took a look at the research section, upgrades and downgrades channel, Draftkings got a lot of price target upgrades today. And if I'm not mistaken, do they report earnings anytime soon? Taj, do they report earnings this week?
DraftKings, I don't believe they report this week, but let me double check.
I know that, no, they don't, right, Marcos? Okay. Yeah, so regardless, they got really nice price target upgrades. So let me just go over them really quickly. Canaccord Genuity, $80 price target upgrade. Evercore, 75. Jefferies, 73. Piper Sandler, 67. Truist Securities, 65. So here's the nice thing about it. Pull up a daily chart on DraftKings. It hit a high on October 2nd. It broke that high, but then immediately got rejected on February 8th. Now look, we are only about less than 2 points away from breaking the all-time highs. These upgrades can fuel a momentum on DraftKings to break the all-time highs. Right now, it's not trading heavily. Like, there's not a lot of volume in pre-market, just across the board. But DraftKings, if it catches a bid and if momentum really kicks in on this one, I think this one's going to be a really fun one to potentially break into all-time highs today. Especially with some price targets that are in the $80 and $75 range. So DraftKings is definitely going to be an A-list stock for me. Another name that I want to watch closely is Plug. Plug is getting a little bit of better volume now in pre-market. Plug got a nice price target upgrade today. Let me double check it. It was at $65 from JP Morgan. They raised it to overweight. So remember, I've explained this a couple of times, maybe a while back, but an overweight recommendation for institutional investors is pretty much between 3 to 5% weighting on your portfolio. A 3 to 5% weighting on your portfolio is overweight, whereas regular holdings can be anywhere between 1 to 2%, right? So JP Morgan's out there saying, hey, overweight your position on Plug because we believe they're going to go to $65. Not today. These price targets are 12-month price targets, right? So JP Morgan is saying within a 12-month time frame, Plug will hit a $65 stock, will be a $65 stock, and will justify, their valuation and research, etc., etc. So I like Plug. It's been beaten down the last couple of days, especially with the market sell-off. It's getting a nice rebound. It's reclaimed the 8 MA on the daily. Right now, it's bumping its head on the 13 MA. The 13 MA is sitting at $54. I think we could possibly hit $54 today. If it rips past that, we could see 55, maybe 56. But nonetheless, Plug is going to definitely be in play for me today. So it's sitting right at pre-market highs. I would prefer a little bit of a sell-off at the open, get a nice reversal, rip it to the upside, right? So that's how I would prefer to play it. If it just rips out of the gates right out of the open, I can't touch it. I'm going to have to wait for maybe a bull flag setup or maybe, a reversal or some of that sort, right? Because you guys know me, I don't chase stocks. I wait for the proper setup, risk reward parameters, and then I get in for the kill. So that's going to be my idea for Plug. I'm also going to watch the overall market when it comes to the NASDAQ. So the triple Qs, playing options contracts with the triple Qs is a hell of a lot of fun, especially if you capture the move, whether it's a sell-off or a rally. It could pay you very nicely. So I'm going to watch the triple Qs. It's been consolidating here for the past 3 hours. If the triple Qs breaks above 319, we can go long. Put our stops at 318.40. So you're risking 60 cents on the trade for a possible rally. If the triple Qs falls below 318, I'm going to go in for 318 puts and put my stops at 318.50. So I'm only going to risk 50 cents on the trade for the short side if the market decides to sell off. But if the market decides to rally, I'm going to risk 60 cents for a possible gain of pre-market highs at 320. And if it breaks above 320, then yeah, let's go in for the nice rally. Overall, if you look at the daily chart, the Qs are in trouble. Let me adjust this to reflect the 50-day moving average. I have something else here. So the 50-day moving average is sitting at $320.24. We are trading below it. And guess what's coming and catching up to the price action? The 8 MA on the daily. The 8 MA on the daily is at 322.16. If today the market is choppy, maybe it sells off a little bit and closes below that 50-day moving average, we're going to have the 8 MA cross below the 50 by tomorrow, if not maybe the next day. that's not going to be good, right? This market is still selling off to the downside. Even though we're gapping up today, I have to admit, I don't trust this gap up. To me, this is another dead cat bounce attempt, just like what happened on Friday. Let's see. Maybe I'm wrong. That's just my little intuition, speaking to me. But I'm going to be very cautious today. I think we can get chopped up very easily today. So I just want to be careful today. I'm also looking at some other factors. So the 10-year yield is at 1.425, so it is pulling back from the 1.5. However, we got to keep an eye on the 10-year yield because interest rates are rising, which, it's creating inflation fears, and especially with the $1.9 trillion stimulus package that's working its way through Congress right now. There's a lot of macroeconomic factors that are working in the background that are going to affect equities, so we have to be aware of it. The VIX right now is at 2450, so that's good. It did pull back from its high of almost 31 on Friday, so a $6 pullback is a good sign for the equities market, which is why we're getting this gap up. But like I said, I don't like the gap up because very, 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 very low volume on it. So one other name I'm going to bring up, Tesla. Tesla, you guys know it, man. I've just been killing it with Tesla. So I have to just keep watching it because this stock is just so much fun to trade. I know it's expensive. I know a lot, many can't trade it because of the capital requirement. But for those of you who can trade it, hey man, this is an excellent stock to trade. So I am going to keep this as an A-list stock. On the daily chart, it looks horrendous. I mean, this downtrend is just very clear that Tesla is getting its ass whooped. So I see a bear flag formation actually on the daily chart. So with that being said, at least from an intraday perspective, if Tesla wants to rip out of $700, we can go long. I'm going to keep an eye on the overall market though to see if the market's rallying as well, because Tesla is a big component of the S&P and the Nasdaq. But if Tesla decides to sell off and breaks below 687, I'm getting on my hands on those puts. So those are my top 6 stocks that I'm going to be watching. I do have some other names that I'm sure Taj is probably going to bring up. I have, NEO, FSR, PLTR, and CCIV and Twitter as my B list. But I'm sure maybe Taj might bring up one of those. So Taj, would that
that's my entire watch list.
That's your entire watch list? All right. Well, let me just transition over to you then.
Yeah. So we'll start it off with PLTR. So PLTR, along with the rest of the market, is gapping up nicely. And there was news that came out that Kathy Woods is actually investing or buying additional shares of PLTR. So Kathy Woods is someone, Alex has referenced her plenty of times, has a lot of pull, has a lot of power within the stock market. So this is something to, really keep an eye on. Kathy Woods is coming out and buying PLTR. There's a good chance that we could see a rally in PLTR. So the way I see PLTR, if it starts to trade back above 25.50, we can play it long. There are stops right here around 25.30. Very tight risk for PLTR. And there's really no big resistance on PLTR until about $26.50. So there's some nice range on this to really rally. If the market does catch a pop in the morning, you can see PLTR start to rally with it as well. Break today's intraday low before I start looking for a short, because I think that is some powerful news behind PLTR. We try to fight that too much. So if PLTR starts to really test that $25 and break down, potentially look for a short. However, I do have a little more of a long bias with PLTR because this is related to Kathy Woods. So what's nice about PLTR is if you look at the high from late January, it had a high of $45. We traded down to $22 on Friday. That's nearly 50% of its value. That actually is 50% of its value. PLTR has lost 50% of its value from that price point. This is a really good area to look for a nice bounce. Even a dead cat bounce could get us at least back up to 28, 27 range. So I like PLTR, has a good amount of range on it, and we're gonna a solid bounce off of it. Another name I like, Neo. The main reason I like Neo is that they're actually earnings after today's close, and you guys know that for earnings, there's going to be a lot of volatility with the stock. I would say more often times than not, the stock usually going into earnings. That certainly has happened thus far with Neo. The closing price was $45.78 on Friday. We're currently trading at $48.50, so that's nearly a 3-point gap up already just during the pre-market hours. The volume is decent right here. We're doing out of 100,000 shares over the past 30 minutes here with Neo. So if Neo starts to catch a pop, we can look for our longs here around 46.70. There are stops here around 48.30. If you want to keep it tighter, you could go 48.40. And there's really no big resistance until around 51.86. Outside of the pre-market high, which is 49.50. So the first resistance is going to be around 49.50. Then after that, we're going to be looking around 51.52 range. So Neo is another stock similar to PLTR that has a lot of range in it to the upside, has a lot of potential to the upside. So that's going to be a good one to trade. Like I said, going right into play. I would caution some of you, even though Neo is has been a very good name for us. Don't look to trade it, right? Some people may look at it that way and maybe a free play for the most part, but remember, going into earnings is a gamble, right?
Yeah.
A company could blow their earnings out of the water and it could gap down, right? Maybe guidance going into the next quarter is a little lower than expected, right? So I just bring that up just in case some people were considering swinging Neo. Just be careful. Day trade it. It's going to be a fun day to trade Neo. Tomorrow's going to be a fun day to trade Neo. And let's just stick to the day trades, But I really like Neo with potential bull flag breakout. Same here with the short. I would like to see Neo break below 48. Really give up all the price action that I put in this morning before I start looking for any short opportunities. However, it is a possibility that could happen. So if Neo starts to break below 48, I'll look for a short entry. Not initially out of the gates. I would like to see it kind of prove itself on the short side a little bit more before I take a short position. If it does break that $48 price level, I will look to get short the stock. Another name I'll be watching is Twitter. So Twitter had a few price target upgrades today. I don't believe it was by a tier 1 analyst, but nonetheless, it was price target upgrades. And they also issued 1.25 billion convertible notes offering. So that's why you saw Twitter start to gap down a little bit to the market, but it's still up about $1.30. The thing I like about Twitter is that there's two things I like about Twitter. If the market rallies, Twitter is going to be one of the best names to look out for a long opportunity because it's trading right near its all-time high. That $80.75 is the all-time high on Twitter, and we're currently about 2 points. Had some range over the past, 4 or 5 days here. It's been moving about $7 here, and then $5 the other day, $4 on Friday. $4 on Friday. So has some nice range for a $70 stock, and if we see the market start to get a pop, we can potentially look for a long on Twitter. We just had a big pop here to the upside. Not that much volume. But nonetheless, if Twitter starts to break above 78.50, you can look for a potential long around $78. However, I'm going to remain patient with this Twitter. Prove itself first before I look into it. So really hold this move to the upside. You could see Twitter as a great opportunity. Also, if the market starts to sell off, you could all Twitter because Twitter is one of the more elevated stocks compared to the rest of the market. It's trading right near its all-time highs where most other names aren't. And Twitter potentially has more room to the downside compared to some of the other tech names. So Twitter has a lot of opportunity when it comes to both sides of the equation, whether market rallies or whether it pops. If it starts to break below $70 or $78, we could definitely look for a potential short around 78.50. So there's two ways to play both sides. So I'll definitely be keeping a close eye on Twitter. Another name I like is the CCIV play. V is gapping up pretty nicely today, about points. It does kind of feel like a dead cat bounce. Not gonna lie, we've had some over the past about 3 days here start to hold this $28, $29 price level. We're gapping right up to Friday's high. What's nice, there's really no resistance until around 35.72. The 20 MA is at $37. The 8 MA is at $43. So there's plenty of room to the upside for CCIV. I think if it starts to rally, we could definitely see 34, possibly even $35 today. So CCIV, we had a dip here around 7 a.m. with the volume spike. However, we're right back up to the early market highs around $33. So if it starts to break out above, we could definitely look for a long with stops around 32.50 to see if we could test that pre-market high of 33.50. So that's a 1-to-1. And then after that, there's really resistance until around, like I said, that $35.70, $36 price zone. So the one thing I'll caution about CCIV is if you're going to trade it, I highly recommend trading with shares because the options contracts can be very spready. Although it's a $30 stock, sometimes you'll see the options contracts have $1, 40 cent, 50 cent, 60 cent, sometimes even $1 spread on it. So just keep that in mind when you're trading CCIV. Definitely look to trade shares if you can. There was one other name. Oh, I think the last I wanted was Draftkings, but I believe you already went over Draftkings, Alex, so I'm not going to go over it a second time. But Draftkings is definitely going to be my number one today. I really like what it's doing up here. You're getting a nice climb up. We actually just had a volume spike here. Although it's not that much, 40,000. You're testing at it, testing that all-time high, 64 cents per point away from that. And if you look at DraftKings, it's a stock. Back here when we were trading it, when that news came out about Michael Jordan, ripped up from $40 to $64, traded all the way down to $35. I think we had a lot of people swinging the stock into it. And I mean, congratulations. If you've been holding on to this thing, we're right back at its all-time highs. And it looks like we're primed to another run here shortly. Kings definitely going to be at the top of my list because it's a former runner. This is a stock when it hitting new all-time highs goes on nice runs. If you look back here on where left, really went for a nice run. The entire month before it started selling off. That's going to be at the top of my list, along with PLTR. Neo for sure, Twitter, and Gamestop as well. Those are pretty much going to be names for the day.
Nice. Yeah, so it's gonna be a fun day, guys. So for everyone on YouTube, thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you all tomorrow, and later today we'll post on our Facebook page the top 2 trades of the day and how it went for us this morning session. So see you guys tomorrow.